Flosstube friends. I'm Nancy Joy Trower. I'm the stitcher with the laughing face, and this is Flosstube number 50. It's also my third Flosstube-aversary, so you know what that means. There's going to be some giveaways at the end. Thank you so much for being here. I know it's been way longer than I wanted it to be in between videos, but I am so happy to be here finally. Feeling well enough. I'll tell you all about it in a second, but so happy that you're here, and I really so truly appreciate all of you who've been on this 3-year journey with me. I started the year I was turning 50 because I wanted to finish 50 projects in my 50th year. And I did. The projects just got a lot smaller as we got closer to the end. But it's been so much fun, and meeting people, you know, through the internet, whether now we Zoom or chat through Instagram or on the Facebook group. It's been so much fun. So I so appreciate all of you for being here and for subscribing and liking and kind comments and everything that you do to be part of this community. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So it has been a bit longer than I had hoped. February was a very busy month, and I've been pretty sick. Just a cold, but it just would not go away. It would just not let go. So the last time I filmed was Martin Luther King Day, and it was very cold. We actually had a snow day the next day, which I think was the 20th of January. I spent the whole day grading papers. Yay. And then we had another snow day the next Monday, and I spent that whole day grading papers because the end of January was the end of our second marking period. If you're new, I am a teacher at a small private school, and I'm the librarian, so I have everybody in the school pre-K through 7. And then I also teach the 8th graders every day. I have them for ELA. So they're obviously a lot more rigorous in the grading because they have tests and papers and projects and all sorts of stuff. But I have like a project at least per class every marking period. And I even went into school on on a Saturday. I think it was the 31st, because I wasn't about to bring home 18 book reports that all looked like Christmas presents, because that's what the 4th graders did. So the end of January, when I should have been filming my second video or my next video, I was grading papers, and February 1st is right when I started to feel like I had a cold coming on. I was like, no, we can't do this, because the book fair was right after that. So the first week of February, I just came home every day and tried to just relax. I was taking Airborne. I was hoping that, looks like there's a curl sticking up, but it's just the stuff behind me. I was taking Airborne and trying to fight it off, because the 6th is when we had book fair set up. And I always have like very particular way I want everything done. I have a picture in my brain, how I want our book fair to look. And it's pretty exhausting. And I have a teacher preview party. So the teachers come through and get to choose the books they want in their wish bin and all that kind of stuff. So the 6th was a big day. And so I just came home that whole week to relax. So I didn't even decorate for Valentine's Day until the 8th and 7th and 8th, which is crazy for me. I'm like, you know, February 1st, it's down, and winter's down and Valentine's is up. And I just wasn't feeling well enough. I was, you know, finishing those darn report cards. So the book fair was the 9th through the 13th, and it went really, really well. We had good sales, which means I get to spend half of the amount on the library itself. We're getting some more furniture. We're getting lots of books. We had a couple family fun nights. The theme was Get Lost in a Good Book Fair. So it was forest themed. So we had every Christmas tree in the building. I was like, bring them to me. And so we lit them and made it look like a little forest. And I convinced the teachers to do a door decorating contest, so then I don't have to decorate the door. They do it for me. I still have to give the prizes for the classes that won, but they all had a different forest creature, and they all did really great doors, and the kids, of course, are excited to come see their door. I have projects the kids make, like little fairy forest dioramas. I think I had like 40 of those. So everything turned out great. We had a really good time. I had a read-in, kind of like a lock-in. We didn't spend the night because there are people who actually do live in the building, so we can't do that. But the middle schoolers could come and we had pizza and we read and we played games and ice cream, and they actually helped me shop the fair and choose the books that we were donating. Because there's always like a charity portion of the book fair. So that all went great, but I was sick through the whole thing. And it was, the cold just kept coming, would not go away. Got really icky and all congested. I wasn't sleeping very well. I had a dream one of the nights, because we've been watching Rizzoli and Isles too much. I had a dream that somebody was murdered at the book fair. I was like, my dream self was like, but then I have to close the book fair. So too much detective shows. We had the long weekend and I was able to relax a little and rest up a little bit, but not enough, because I actually took last Thursday off because I had no voice. Like, I called my principal in the morning and said hello, and she was like, oh no, because it was all gravel and not even there. So just went back to bed. And so slowly I am feeling better. Things are back to normal. The hallway is almost completely back to normal. Because I take over the whole second floor. So it's just about all wrapped up, and because it takes a while to figure out where am I putting all this stuff, or getting the teachers to get their doors taken down. But it was fun. We had a great time. And now it is the end of February. It is the 26th today. Getting ready for March. So this weekend we'll be taking down all the Valentine's Day and putting up St. Patrick's. We're in Lent, so I have a cool Lenten project to tell you about in a little bit. But that's why I have not been here. And so I am feeling better, not quite as tired every day, and looking forward to spring break at the end of March. We get 2 weeks. So that is always very much needed by the time it shows up, and always very fun. And also because by that time we can actually start getting outside and like go disc golfing and things like that. So, all right. So there's my life update for you. And thank you for your patience with me not being around. I'm so glad to finally be able to sit down and do it. So I hope you have something in your drinking vessel and you've got your stitching and you're ready for a lot, because I stitched the Winter Olympics. It was so much fun. And I did pretty much something different every day. So I have a lot to show. Got some haul, some FFOs. We've got everything. So the drinking vessel, if you don't know where that came from, Primrose Cottage does a sip and stitch a couple times a year. And one time on one of their lives, they were talking about the box that was about to be released, but they didn't want to give away what the sip part was. There's always something to drink from, whether it's a mug or, a glass, and they have them printed. That goes along with the theme of the box. They're very cute. I've never purchased a sip and stitch, but not yet. Hopefully someday I will be able to do that. So one time they were trying to talk about it without giving too much away. And someone in the comments said drinking vessel. And so that has stuck. So if you have your drinking vessel, you have whatever you're drinking in whatever mug or whatever you're using. All right. So I probably will have to pause a couple times to clean up stuff and go put stuff away, because there's a lot sitting over here. I've got a giant basket filled with projects. So let's get to it. So last Monday, President's Day, I did do some FFOing. I had a couple of Valentine's Day things that I had wanted to finish up, and then I had a couple St. Patrick's Day things. Most of it was stuff I finished last year, and then when I do a couple like finishing marathons. I definitely do one over spring break, and I usually do at least one in the summer. And sometimes you start out great and you're going gangbusters, and then the mojo just, and so whatever's usually at the end doesn't get finished up. So I had a couple things to, I had them laid out and and I think sometimes that's also like you're not 100% sure what you want to do with it. So this is my first FFO from last week. This is Loads of Love from Primrose Cottage. This is one of Katie Rogers, who I think Katie's the oldest of the girls. She did a couple designs all in this cute little truck series. There's Valentine's, Easter, 4th of July, fall, and Christmas. So I think there's 5 right now. So, and I did the truck in the DMC variegated, which is 115, which it's kind of funny because you can see like, oh, I'm using 321 right now because it goes through all of the major red colors. And I did kind of fussy cut it because some of them went really dark, and I tried not to use the super dark ones. But there's my Loads of Love, which I just mounted on foam core. And I had this cute pink fabric, one of my last Joann purchases. And originally I thought I was going to use Aqua Rickrack, but I had this pom-pom trim, which it is kind of like tone on tone. It kind of blends into the background, but I thought it was just enough to kind of, you know, pop the stitching without being like competing for attention. You know what I mean? And I was thinking about putting a bow up here, had a mock-up, and I have a group of friends. They Zoom like every week. I hop on when I can, but we have an Instagram chat that every day there's always like, they're enablers. That's the name of the group, is the Disorderly Enablers. And so I sent them a picture, bow or no bow? And most of it came back no bow. So I was like, all right, I'll go with them. Because if I ask my husband, bow or no bow, he'd be like, So love him, but he doesn't have a stitching opinion. So it's nice to have that feedback from people who do get it. So this is out. I will be cleaning everything up, but I was happy to finally have this out on display this year. Super cute. And I do have the Autumn truck, which is also like a really nice teal color with the oranges. So I probably will do that at some point too. So the next thing was last year's Quaker, the Valentine Quaker, also from Primrose. Most of this is actually all Primrose stuff. And this is on linen that I hand dyed last year. It actually looks, I think, lighter in the camera than it does in person. So I just used, I think it's the Petal Pink. Whatever the kind of, there's 3 shades of pink in Rit dye. There's fuchsia and petal pink, I think it is. And then rose, which is more dusky colored. So this is the lighter one. And I used DMC's, their silky floss, which I didn't love because I feel like it kept shredding on me all the time. So maybe I'm using it wrong. Silk people give me some advice, but I do like the sheen. There's kind of a nice sheen to it. And someone else had done it with just the 2 little birds in blue. And I thought that was cute. So I stitched that last year while we were binge watching the entire series of Home Improvement. I remember clearly Tim Allen and Patricia, whatever her name is. When I think of this, I think of Home Improvement now. Now, this is one of the first times I ever have done the sew it together and cut a slit in the back, sew it up, and cover something over it. So I had this cute little envelope from a pack from Hobby Lobby, and it turned out really cute. Now, I left this one without any trim on it because I didn't really have anything that matches this super bright pink. I think it's like 605 is what that color is. But it looks fine without it. I don't think everything has to have trim on it all the time. Now, the other one that was Valentine's Day, it's another Primrose. This was a start to finish and an FFO. In just the past couple weeks. Sorry, there's a piece of fuzz. So I also did this on linen I tried to dye. And I tried to do this one lighter because I wanted to try to get like the blush like they have. And it still turned out a little bit too dark. So I had to change the colors a little bit or they would have been ghosty. There was a Petal Posy or Posy, I think it is, Pink Posy. And that didn't show up at all. So I turned that into I think there's a little like right there. I turned that into the white, and then the Strawberry Parfait became where it would have been the Pink Posy, and then I pulled out Ribbon Red to make for the brightest part, because otherwise you wouldn't have seen it. So this stitched up really quickly, just took a couple nights. I used the same pink, and it's just all 3 of them, but it's like, really, who looks at the back? And it's cute Valentine's. Now, the pom-poms, I just glued on with Aleene's glue. Because I was like, oh, I'm going to try the trick where you sew it in between when you're doing the pillow. Only silly me, when I sewed it together, when you turned it inside out, it would have still been on the inside. I didn't do it right. And then I was like, I don't really want to sew it together when I can't see it, because then knowing my luck, I'll sew over something, it'll come out all wonky. So I just glued it on, but I kind of even like the way the trim adds to the back. So that is sitting out next to this cute little, thing I picked up at TJ Maxx. It's like a romantic-y book lovers thing. So those are sitting out. So those are my Valentine's Day FFOs. And then I also had a couple St. Patrick's Day things that had been sitting out since last year. So again, this is Primrose. This was their freebie from last year. And I did it with, I think I used what color and cotton I had. So this is Pickle, I'm pretty sure. And I stitched it kind of on a diagonal so you could get the really cool variegation in there. And then this is on, oh, the other ones are on 28 count. That's pretty much what I use most of the time. This is, 28 count Vintage Country Mocha. And I just use a really cute St. Patrick's Day print on the back. And this one doesn't have the thingy because I sewed it in at the bottom and then just glued the rickrack on. Now, one of the things that I do with my pillows now, I think the tip came from Vonna Pfeiffer, and then I heard it from Chris, the camping stitcher, is that after you've stuffed it with the polyfill, you wet it and then hit it with a really hot iron, and it kind of flattens everything out and kind of fills into the corners nicely. So I've been doing that. It comes out pretty cute. So that's my cute little happy St. Patrick's Day. And then the last thing that I FFO'd is Lucky You from the Proper Stitcher. Now this is just, I cut the backing board a little bit too small on this one. This is a frame I picked up at Hobby Lobby in the farm section. And I used it for a Halloween stitch. And I just kind of shoved the board in there because if you use magnets and washers, it adds height. So it would be sticking out of the frame. It wouldn't really be in the frame. So that's what happens. So obviously I didn't make this one big enough, but I'll think of something so it doesn't fall out on me when it's out on display. But I just found a piece of green fabric that was in my stash. And it just did 2 pieces of sticky board. And that came out really cute. I think that is also, I think that's just Irish tea-dyed linen. And I love the little U series. It's super cute. Now, I felt like it needed something else. And I love this frame. I think this frame is so versatile. I can use it for every season pretty much. Which is another reason why I didn't want to do washer and magnet. Because I wasn't sure how I'm going to do whatever is going to be used in here. So I could do a bow. And what I did for Halloween, which was basically, it was a pinker and pumpkin. It was super cute. I used the same fabric that I had on the backer board, made a bow, and then I just used the wire in the bow and bent it over the top of the frame. So I wasn't leaving anything here in case I just wanted it plain like this. Now I do feel like it needs something, but I figured once I got all my St. Patrick's Day stuff out, I might find something in there that will go along with it. And so I'll figure that out this weekend. So those are my FFOs, and I did it on President's Day. And that was, and then I was tired, and I was like, we're ordering pizza. I even thought I was going to shoot the floss tube that day, and then I was just like really tired because it still had this stupid cold. So, all right, I'm going to pause for a second and reset with the next bunch of stuff, which is all of my stitchings that I worked on in the past 6 weeks. So hold on. So, I hope you've got, I've got your drinking vessel because we've got a lot to talk about. I had so much fun doing the Stitch the Winter Olympics. It was such a great idea. So thanks to the Naptime Stitcher for putting that together. It was so much fun. You know, doing the whip parade in January, you see everything that you have, but this was kind of like a working whip parade because I tried to pick something every day that was different. I didn't get to work on everything, and sometimes it was kind of like, I don't feel like getting up and going in the other room to get the thing that's on my list, and so I didn't get to everything, but I did work on a lot of different things, and so that was a lot of fun. All right, so I have to put this down somewhere where I can reach it, and you're not constantly seeing the top of my head. So one of the things that was really helpful is I know a lot of people do the Book of Days. Now, I am a happy planner person. I've had, this is, I think, my 8th year doing the happy planner. And this is a really cool cover. It's kind of leathery. And then usually what I do, so there's like the monthly and then there's the weekly. So normally what I have been doing the past couple of years is I would just write in gray when I started something, when I finished something. And this year I was like, you know what? I'm going to write something down every day for what I'm working, or even like for the week, because I have my Name That Tune Sal that I'm doing. So, you know, if I'm going to work on one thing for the week, like I wrote that down. And I'm really glad that I did. So that was January. And then here's February. I'm really glad I did because I got so sick that my brain wasn't always working very well. And I was like, what did I work on? So it was nice to have the record of it so I could see what I was doing. And then I did have, this was my Stitch the Winter Olympics calendar. I did set it up before the Winter Olympics started. Like I said, I tried to, I stuck to most of the days, but I didn't get everything done. So the last week I saw you was the 3rd week of the month. So my Name That Tune Sal is what I'm doing for this year, where each week is a different song title with the intention of working on something for that week. And so you're picking up a lot of things, still having the chance to work on new stuff, work on holiday stuff, but not just always starting new things. Like I have 36 whips, I think it was at the beginning of the year. And I definitely want that number to be smaller. I still see beautiful things that come out. Like we're not going to talk about what I pre-ordered from Market yet. But you know, there's always new things that come out. Those darn designers, they're so talented. But so this way there's kind of like flexibility, but still keeping those goals going. So the first week of the month is Baby Got Bap. So that's a big ass project or big awesome project. Second week is Whip It Real Good. Third week is Make New Friends. And the fourth week is It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year. So a little different. Last year, 2025, I did the little something sal where it was like something old, something new, something festive, and something boo. So I was really trying to hit Halloween and Christmas. And this year I decided the BAP, like I have a couple of really big projects I wanted to work on, particularly with being the 250 or the 13 for the 250th sal that I've been doing with Nancy the Disorderly Stitcher, and wanting to get a lot of stuff done for the semi-quincentennial. I have 2 big projects that I really do want to work on, and I needed to carve that time out. So Martin Luther King Day, 3rd week of the month, it was Make New Friends. So one of them is what I showed you already with the Sweetly Sayins from Primrose. And so that was a start and a finish, which was great. Now this one I also started because I was like, I've had this for years now. I'm not even sure when it came out. Does it have the date on it? I think they have the date. 2022 is when this came out. I think I bought it in 2023 and I haven't started it yet. But I always wanted to because I have a coffee theme in my kitchen and in my classroom. And so that obviously goes right along with my stuff. So I have a bag. These are my bags. Oops, sorry. Those are my bags. So retired Nancy will someday be able to make project bags. That's my goal. I hope to do that. But for now, it's Ziploc because it's convenient. But I have like those big bags. Remember when you shopped at Joann's and you would check out and it'd have all the cool bags lined up on the checkout aisle? I have a bunch of those. I have like a big Valentine's Day one, and all the Valentine's Day whips go in that one. And I have one that's bees, and so all the bees go in that one. So that kind of thing. So here's what I have so far. I think it really just took, like, I worked on it a couple of nights. There's not really a ton left. So I'm hoping to finish that this week. It is the last week of February. So I was like, you know, there's a few things that shouldn't go away as whips and wait until next year. And this is one of them. So I'm going to work on this one this evening when we're all done with videos and editing and all that stuff. So I'm going to leave that one out. So that was one of my new starts. Love You a Latte. Well, they call it Cookies and Coffee, and which is good because they have a new one that just came out this year that I actually ordered the paper copy of. Most of the time when I do that from Priscilla and Chelsea, I wind up not starting it right away. But I was good this time. So this one is so cute. I loved that blue fabric. And that was one of the things when I saw you last, I was going to do some fabric dyeing that day. So I did. Oop, it's caught. I did do some pink linen. And it's actually, I think it's brighter pink than that in person. The camera washes it out just a little bit. So I think, I don't know that I'm going to use that for Valentine's Day again. Oh, yeah, that was the other two Primrose that I got. I got the Home Sweet Home from last year and the Valentine Alphabet. And I'm going to do them on white because it was too ghosty. So I decided to do them on white instead. But this is that aquamarine that I dyed. And I love how this turned out. I bought all of the snowmen that came out this year in January. And I'm going to do them on that blue. I think it's gorgeous. So I did work on it. And I'm using the called for flosses. I did get the Classic Colorworks for this one. So here is what I have so far. I don't think I will be able to finish it this week. I probably will go back into the whip bag, but who knows, maybe I'll pull it out some other most wonderful time of the year week. Certainly can finish it next year, I'm hoping. But this was, I worked on this for the 4th week of January, and then I also did work on it in the first week of February because I was not feeling well, and I was worried that with a BAP that has smaller fabric count and more color changes that I was going to mess something up and wind up frogging more than I was stitching. So I worked on this and also one day during the Winter Olympics. So it's pretty cute. And there's not really a ton more on it. So we'll see. I don't know. And I'm not feeling like Valentine's Day out this year. Sometimes I think that happens where you're just like, okay, I've had enough. I'm moving on to the next holiday. But maybe I'll pick that back up sometime. It might not be a bad car stitch. It's not Ada, but it's that Monaco, which is nice and stiff, and you can see the holes on that pretty well. So we'll see. So that leads me to the Stitch the Winter Olympics, which was really fun. And again, it was the Naptime Stitcher. And I'm almost thinking like it would be kind of cool every February to have something where, even if it's like for the love of cross stitch or something where you just pick up something different every day for like 2 weeks and just kind of remember why you started it in the first place. I'm going to take a sip of tea. Hopefully I don't spill it. I did that one time. That's Stash Chai. That is my favorite. A little splash of milk. It's delicious. And super good when you're not feeling great. There's something about the spices in chai that really, really help. So, the opening ceremonies was the first thing for Stitch the Winter Olympics. And that was a new start. And so it was a new start for that or something that you started in 2026. So I decided to work on my blessing sampler, which is, I'm doing Hope and Love from Teresa Kogut. Lovely stitch. This is the one that all of the proceeds are going to Lincoln Strong. That was the hashtag Lincoln Strong fundraiser. She mentioned it last year because it's to benefit a family friends of theirs whose grandson was diagnosed with leukemia. And when I saw her last summer, she said that they had raised like $20,000, which is amazing. But be careful because she did also talk about the fact that there are stitching pirates out there who were trying to pass it off as their own work, saying it was for charity and, you know, pocketing the money. And then people were buying it and not getting their charts. And so reaching out to her, like, where's my charts? Like, well, you got to buy it from her website. Don't buy it from somebody else. So I am using my own color conversion. I'm doing this on 32 count vintage country mocha, and I'm using like Cardinal for the house, Little Sprout for the green, Tennessee red, clay for the pink. So so the house is getting there. I have the roof almost done. I put in the year for 2026, so I have to finish it this year. Got a little bit more of the flowers done and a little bit more of the lettering. So now this is one that I might work on this during the second week in March, which is the Whip It Real Good week. So I might work on it there. But if I don't, I'm definitely going to work on it spring break, which is not that far away. Thank goodness. The end of March. But also, right now I have a Lenten stitch, which I'll show you. So I want to work on that a little bit every day. It's kind of like, you know, the spirit of the season of Lent. But after that's over, if this isn't done yet, like I'll cut a length of floss, do it, and then move on to whatever the other, you know, stitch of the day might be. So it's a little bit at a time, and it'll be lovely. I know I didn't finish it in January, but I'm pretty sure my needle will still be blessed. It's okay. So love that one. Oh, and I also worked on it on the last day for the closing ceremonies. I thought that was perfect to kind of bookend the Winter Olympics, because the closing ceremonies prompt is something to finish in 2026. So those were the 2 days I worked on the blessing sampler. The second day was Parade of Nations, so stitch something patriotic. So for that, I did work on, there we go, the America sampler from Crocette Gogo. This is the BAP that I want to get a lot of work, and I'm really looking forward to working on this solely that first week in March, other than my Lenten stitch. I'm going to work on this, you know, really hard, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I did do just a little bit, but it was nice to pick it back up. Like I said, it was really fun just to not just talk about each stitch, but really work on it. Oops. So I got his eagle wings done, a little bit more of the trees over here, and just a little bit more of the border. So, but that I will be working on all of next week, because it is hard to believe it is already March. I'm working, this is on 32 count sorry, this is my little tag from Stitching Corner. That's my LNS. Mad Hatter's tea towel. And I roll everything and put it back. Those tubes that you used to get at, well, you can still get them at like Michael's, but I like these because I feel that rolling it up gets the wrinkles out, or helps get the wrinkles out more than if you folded it. So I like doing that. And then I try to also do it, like I started on the opposite side. I try to leave that tag on so I know what it is. All right, so it's the obligatory itchy nose in a floss tube. Everybody gets those for some reason. It's kind of funny. I am using all of the called for DMC. So she has charted that in DMC. And loving Crocette a Gogo. And I also just think it's really, really cool that you can order something from somebody in Italy and get it on your website. I think she also was having a problem last summer with pirates. So be careful that you're only buying it from her, not anywhere else, because they were not on the up and up. All right, so the next one was Olympic rings. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. The next one was Winter Olympics Stitch Something Winter. So I worked on my winter Saltbox from Pinker and Punkin. And this is one of those things, I think I'm going to try to finish this up this week with my, oh, goodness. Sorry. I do that when I'm reading stories to the kids, too, at school. Like, if I have to scratch my nose or sneeze, I hide behind the book that I'm when I'm reading to little kids. So this is from Pinker and Punkin. So there isn't a picture to show you because she doesn't always have a, like, she's starting to now, but her patterns didn't always come with a picture. And they are free, but I don't really want to flash it. So I really don't have a lot more. There's like another bird that has to go over here. There's some snowflakes at the top. Finish a little bit of the house here and finish up the little bit of the house. There's still some more snow at the bottom. So I might be able to knock that out this weekend. And then I think the next Saltbox I'm going to do, because someone had I said like last fall, I want to do tons of her stuff. She has so many. They're all free, which is amazing. She has so many cute salt boxes. And so someone suggested doing Saltbox Saturday. So Saturday I'm going to work on that, try to finish it up. And then the next one I think I'm going to do, she's got a really cute, there's a couple Easter ones, but there's 2 cute Easter ones. I think I'm going to do one of those. It's got little, you know, more of a pastel colored house and some very cute little bunnies. And then the next one, I am 100% doing the strawberry one this year because I've always loved that one. Love the colors. Super cute. So I'm going to get that one done this year as well. All right, I'm just going to check the time real quick. All right, so I'm trying to like cook dinner and do Flosstube at the same time. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so the next day on the Stitch the Winter Olympics was the Olympic rings. So stitch something with ring colors. Now I didn't actually stitch that day. That was supposed to be on Monday the 9th, and that was a day that I was just so tired when I got home. Plus it's also the middle of the winter reading challenge where I'm trying to beat children. That doesn't sound good. But it's, you know, we keep track of how many minutes, and there's 5 kids who are ahead of me right now. I have almost 3,000 minutes in 5 weeks, a little bit more this week. But I was trying to read and, you know, conserve my energy. So I didn't stitch on the 9th and I didn't stitch on the 10th. So on the 11th, it was supposed to be curling and something I was encouraged by someone else. And I had the stitching tomato and I was like ready to pick it up, and that's from Erin Elizabeth, but that's one that I have been stitching from my iPad, and the iPad was upstairs and I was like, nope, I'm not walking up the stairs. So I went back to the Olympic rings, and that one I'm doing the 4th of July freebie from last year from Primrose. I think they just called it 4th of July round. And I am doing mine with bright color. So this is on iced blue, and I'm doing it with, I think it's actually this way. And it does matter because of which way your stitches are going to go. Candy apple is the red that I'm using. I forgot what the blue is. And then I'm just using like bamboo. So I did a little bit more on that one. Oh, wait, it would be this way. That's the way the heart is. Huh? So we did just a little bit on that one night. And that would be another one that should be pretty easy to finish up during one of those most wonderful time of the year weeks. Because there's not much to it. So I should be able to just finish that up. Okay, then I worked on the red Cardinals, which is, that was short track, border or row was the prompt. And so red Cardinal sampler I'm doing from the Owl Forest Embroidery. I always call it Owl Forestry. And so this I'm doing on 36 count affogato. I'm using my own color conversion because their flosses are not readily available and really heavily variegated. They're kind of cool, but I just used my own. So I did a little bit more on the bird. It looks like a firebird right now, doesn't it? So cool. So I get a little bit more of the bird done. And I did actually finally cut it. I was going to use this for my Lenten piece, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but it was like really green for that. But I love it for this. It'd be so great for other Christmassy pieces. I'm doing, like I said, it's not called for, but I have some really cool, one of the colors is actually Cardinal. I thought that was appropriate. And like Louisiana hot sauce, I think. So some really pretty fire. I think one of the colors is fire. So I had fun. I kitted that up at the beginning of my Christmas vacation. I went to my LNS after school because we got out early that day. And I had way too much fun. All right, so the next one was Friday the 13th. And for that, I was actually at school. We had a read-in where I think I mentioned it already. See, my brain's still not functioning. But I didn't come home. So I was like, I'm going to be at school from 4 to 6. Wait, you know, so I'm going to take my stitching with me. And I didn't get very much done at all because I wound up having to do other things, of course. But I did take Stitch Witch with me. And I worked a little bit on her hat. And this is on, I think it's 28 count Molly. And I just love this fabric. It's so pretty. Oops. So I did a little bit more on her hat. And I have switched her. In the picture, the model has gray skin and a green bodice, and I flipped it because alphaba. So I wanted her to be a green-skinned witch. And did you see the new one? The new one is the Book Goddess. I pre-ordered that one because I had to have it. It's a book goddess. Like, come on. It's kind of what I do. So that was fun to work on. And then I did work on, the next one was snowboarding. And the prompt was your favorite designer. That was a Saturday the 14th, Valentine's Day. So I did work on the Love You a Latte on that day as well. Then on the 15th, oh, I worked on the Love You a Latte a little bit. The little one. And then the 15th, I worked on the big one. I already showed you those. And then I was supposed to do part of a series. And it was Monday the 16th. We were off of school. And I was like, you know what? I feel like starting something new. So I did. And that was the beginning of the Make New Friends week. So I started the Valentine's Day alphabet from Primrose. And my original intention was to make this one look like a set with the Sweetly Saying. But like I said, the pale pink was, the posy was too ghosty. So I just kind of said, we're going to go just use some white linen on it. So I started that. Is that the right? Yeah, that's the right way up. And I changed the colors a little bit so they would go with the other one. So it's like really tealy and the Strawberry Parfait. I'll use the ribbon red, of course, but so that's what I did to get that one started. And that was very fun. I like their finishing on that one too, with the little paddle. And I really like the Home Sweet Home one, that one with their little house row. It's very cute, which you can see. I ordered that one too. So hopefully for next year, I'll have all of those. Little display. All right. Then the next prompt was the Olympic Village, and it was a house or building. And I was not in the mood for what I had originally planned, which was one of the Prim ornaments, which I still need to finish for my work besties for Christmas, but spring break is coming. So something with a house or building, I was like, you know what? I want to pull this back out. So this is from SWTH. And it's just gorgeous. And so, but it's not very big. So when I worked on it, it was, you know, it's like that nice little sense of accomplishment. Like I actually got some stuff done. So there is a giant thread hanging off of it. But I got more of the moon done in the beard. And I started on the houses. And this is on Onyx. I forget what the count is. I think it's either 28 or 32. But I really like this Onyx. I think this might be my go-to black from now on. So that was fun to work on. Very, very pretty. And that is using all DMCs. Here's the colors in the bag. And I think I bought a couple things from SWTH at Christmas. Oh, and wait till you see the new one I just bought from her too. Or that company. I don't know. It's kind of funny. I was looking today and it seemed like perhaps there was another company that had stolen their stuff, but they were both from South Korea. So I think it's the same company with two names. So we'll see. All right. All right, so I didn't work on anything on Ash Wednesday. I didn't go to Ash Wednesday that night either. That was one of the nights that I was really just not feeling great. I think, you know, just My mom used to say, like, after you'd had a big event, so often you'd get sick because the adrenaline kick that you were feeling during the big event, or, you know, whatever big thing you were working for, and once it was over, then your adrenaline kind of lets off. And so even though the book fair was over and we packed everything up, Thursday was when I took the day off. And so I didn't stitch it all on Wednesday. But Thursday, since I was home, I did stitch quite a bit while I was listening to an audiobook, because that counts for our minutes. And I worked on the red, white, and blue sampler. The prompt was stay on target. Was my original plan was to work on Wednesday the 18th, but then it also worked for the 19th when I was home, which was letters or numbers. So, and it was right next to me where I was sitting, so I was like, I'm just going to grab that. So this is from Erin Elizabeth. I love that house. I would live in that house. It's like an Anna Green Gables house to me. And I actually did get quite a lot done. So this is broken up. I think it's 6 pages, 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom. So, oh, wrong side. I don't have a board. I need to get a board. Scrapbooking paper doesn't always work very well. And it's not big enough for this one. So I already had all of the top done with the alphabet, but I worked on this section right here. So it's almost done with the bottom of this page. I did a lot in the house and the fill-in. I got some of the windows started there. Did a little bit more of the bush here, but the tree, the flag, and this planter right here, and the rest. So this is the bottom of that border all the way down there. So now I just need to finish up this, and I do the kind of thing where I'll work, like, do a strand of red, go do some house, go do some green, go do some house. So I go back and forth. But this is, I'm definitely picking this one up during WIP week in March, because I feel like another good couple days like the one that I had, and it'll be very close to being finished. That is on, I think it's 28 count. It might be 32, but it's on parchment, and I love this fabric too. I might have to get some more of that someday. My dining room table has a lot of stuff on it right now. All right, then the next day was bobsled, stay on track to finish. So I worked on, and that was Friday the 20th. So I worked on a tiny modernist, Dream Big. I started this last summer. It was my car stitch. It might wind up being a car stitch again. Car stitch for me is something on Ada, because I can see the holes when we're driving. So I started this when we were on our way to New Jersey last summer with Max to help him with some stuff in his new apartment. That was a very fun trip. So, and I'm doing this on a 14 count iridescent blue Ada, so it's got some sparkle. Maybe you can see. I don't know if you can see the sparkle today. But I did more of the book down here, and I'm like got almost a little bit more, teeny bit more of the flowers. So I'm trying to get all the flowers done so then I can go do the back stitching and like work on the book, do some more back stitching. There's a lot of back stitching, but I would love to have that in my classroom, especially for this group of kids goes. I really love my 8th graders. Oh, by the way, they know that I have a floss tube. I think some of them have actually started following. A few started following me on Instagram. They're like, you got to give us an honorable mention. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. But they are good kids. They're still 13 sometimes, but they're good kids. All right, and then the last day, other than the closing ceremonies, which was my blessing sampler, was the medal ceremony. And the prompt was flowers. Naptime Stitcher did such a great job. All of these prompts were just wonderful. So I was working on Welcome Home Spring, which is another car stitch. And this one is Priscilla and Chelsea. I'm doing it on black Ada. And I think this is one that I looked at, was like, oh my gosh, I've been stealing floss from this bag to go do other things. I better put it all back. I am one of those. I do steal from Peter to pay Paul. but I think we'll be okay. So I did a little bit more work in the lettering. I think I did a little bit more in the curtains over here, and I got the big giant hollyhocks going. And so this is another, like I said, pretty soon, hopefully I'll have car stitches again, because it'll be nice enough that we can drive to go disc golfing and do the fun outdoor stuff that we like to do. So that was all of my Stitch the Winter Olympics. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. I would do something like that again, where, you know, you get to choose all the great prompts and then work on a little something else every day. All right, I'm going to go clean this up and be back in a sec. Which the next. All right, so that brings us to the current week. It is the 4th week of February, so that means that it's the most wonderful time of the year week. And I decided that I was going to try to finish up a whole bunch of stuff this week. So first of all, and then the Lenten stitch, and I'll tell you about that in a second. So 2 years ago, I started Carolyn Needle Art's Dublin Inn. It's so cute, little sheepies, all French knots. And I worked on it the first year, and then I worked on it last year. I did a little sheep, and then for some reason I put it away. I thought I finished it even. Of course, the other day I had a piece of 987 sitting on the sofa. It was the last piece of that skein, and now it's not there. I don't know where it is. It probably got stuck to my shirt. But I just need to put in a little shamrock, and it's done. So hopefully I have some 987. And I have a gold frame that I think I'm going to put this in, and then it'll be out. So that was my first, almost finished, from the most wonderful time of the year week. And then I'm going to work on the little coffee one, and I'm going to try to finish up the Winter Manor, and then it'll be March. So, all right. So my Lenten stitch. Past 2 years, I did a Holy Week stitch, and I really liked it. I liked starting something on Palm Sunday, and of course I'm off during that week, so I had the whole week to like sit, and I put on some praise music. I used to be the youth group coordinator, so I have a lot of praise music in my my music library, and I would just, you know, put some songs on and work for like an hour and a half every day or so that I could finish it during the week, but I didn't want to finish it in like one shot. I wanted it to spread it out over the week. And I really liked doing that. So I mentioned something to my pastor about it last year, and he said, "Oh, that's really great." He said the worship team had talked about doing some sort of piece of art over the course of Lent and like have that be part of the focal of our Lenten process or our Lenten journey. So this year I said, hey, what if we do something with a cross stitching this year, and I'll pick a bigger piece than just what I would do in 1 week. And then maybe I can also, you know, teach people how to do it themselves if they would like to learn after worship on Sundays. So I chose Plum Street Samplers, Rejoice. And I'm pretty sure this came out at Market last year, and I really liked it then. And so when I was looking for a piece, it's not particularly Eastery per se, but it's a really lovely piece. And it's actually, I think, my first Plum Street, believe it or not. So it calls for 36 count affogato. And I have a piece of 36 count affogato that I bought when I got the Cardinals. But it's really green. Really, really green. And when I put the colors up next to it, I was like, oh, I don't know about that. So, and this is only a little piece like this. You can kind of see this big dark green swath here. There's like a big swath on my bigger piece of fabric that I was using it. So like, this is kind of a remnant from the Cardinals. So I was like, I don't think that's going to work. So then I thought, well, I have a piece left of Milk and Sugar that's 40 count from when I did Go Tell It on the Mountain. But at 40 count, it would only be, with my little calculations, it would only be 6 inches by 5 inches. And I was like, that's really tiny. I kind of want to have it be a bigger piece that I can enjoy. So, I don't know. I thought like I want to, you know, I'll save the 40 piece for something that would be, you know, a 10 by 12 if it's 40, but it would be enormous if you're doing it on something, you know, 28 or whatever. So then I was looking through, what do I have? So I decided to go with this piece of 32 count Latte. And I decided the 32 was okay because it'll be 7, not quite, like 7.375 by 6.3. And I thought that'll fit in an 8x10 with room to spare. And it'll be a nice size. So I'm doing it on the 32. So that's what I've started so far. Now, I had to play with it a little bit even then, because if you look at the picture, the blue is a very pretty blue and it's pretty variegated. So here and here, it's variegated. She used a DMC for the clouds, but it's pretty close in color. However, this is the called for, that blue. It's frosted sage and it's very pale, like not even close to what the picture looks like. And I was like, I don't know about that. It's not, and especially on that affogato, like, no way. So I looked through what I had because I really didn't want to wait and have to order something else. I also ordered the wrong London Fog. She calls for the Classic Colorworks. I bought the Weeks. Not even close. Like, the London Fog Weeks is like greenish yellow, like a big variegation. So what I decided to do was, instead of the London Fog, which is used in the pattern, it's the writing and this bird, which looks really blue in the picture. So I decided to go with Midnight from Gentle Arts. I thought that was really pretty. And then I decided for that blue to go with Deep Blue Sea. Now I'm doing the Midnight 2/2, but the Deep Blue Sea I'm doing 1/2. They're actually pretty close when you put them together on the fabric, and I tried it a couple different ways to see how I wanted to do it. If I was going to do all of it just 1/2 or all of it 2/2, but the dark blue didn't stand out enough. So I'm doing 2/2 for everything except for the light blue. Also because I probably don't have enough to do them. I mean, I can certainly order more from my LNS and go pick them up, but I wanted to get started. So these are the colors. So we've got the Midnight Blue and the Deep Blue Sea. And then the rest of it is all the called for. So, sort of. I missed a couple colors, which is kind of fun. So there's a couple DMCs. There's 927, which is the cloud. There's 402. There's a couple greens. 3012, 3013. Those are already on bobbins. 3713, pretty pink color. Hickory Sticks is the brown that I already started with. This one also calls for Tennessee. Now this is the Tennessee red clay is the pink part of the brick in the house. There's whitewash. Pine needles. Sorry, I keep getting lower and lower. You can't see it. And then Campfire. And then somehow, when I was doing my order for the fabric, for the floss, I didn't order another cherry cobbler. And that's all I have. But it's the brick in the house. So I was like, if I get to there, now I'm thinking like I can always order more. But I might use a little bit of licorice red because it's brick. So brick isn't always the same color. So I think it's going to come out really nicely. I'm very happy with it. And so this is, I will work on it quite a bit on Sundays. It'll be the only thing I stitch, so my Sabbath stitch throughout Lent. But also it'll be, like I'm going to probably tonight take a strand of blue, but do a little bit more and just keep working. And I'm probably going to wind up going like diagonally. Next is, the bird and Campfire, which is going to be really pretty. So I'm looking forward to working on that throughout the season of Lent. And then, of course, I'll probably kick it into higher gear during Holy Week itself. So that's my Lenten stitch. Okay, so it's time for haul. And I do have some of the things I have in haul actually go along with the Lenten stitch because it's things I picked up that I thought I wanted to have like a kind of a nice variety for anybody at church who wanted to learn how. So I've grabbed a couple things. This is from a new creation studio. He is Risen, and they did that all in, I think it's Little Sprout. Very pretty. So I thought that one might be fun. Then this is actually, it's from the world of cross stitching. And it's nice because when you download this set, you can actually download like an introduction of cross stitching, which I'm going to give to the people who are just learning how. So I thought this one was nice because it's just kind of like a nice religious thought, not particularly Eastery, but also a simple, like a good simple start. So it says, keep the faith. It is well with my soul, faith, hope, and love, and be still and know. And I thought those were pretty. So I'm going to kit those. I have a couple people who chose some from there. I'm going to kit those up. Also from the world of cross stitching. And this is what I think I'm going to do as my example because I can do them on Ada. Of course, I'm going to have people who are just starting to use Ada. But I thought these would be fun in case anybody wanted to do kind of like a bright secular thing. And so I'm going to do these as my example, like how to stitch. Because then I can do it on Ada. I don't want to use the big Rejoice as a like instructional. That's not going to work very well. And then this is kind of cool. So what was the guy's name? Dr. Pappy Dan is the shop. And first I saw he had a St. Patrick's Day one, which hold on. I think I have that over here in my other stash of stuff. He had a St. Patrick's Day one. And it was like, oh my gosh, that's adorable. So I bought the St. Patrick's Day one first to like test it to see what it looked like. It's actually enormous. It's deceptively large, or yeah, it doesn't look like it would be that big. It's like 300 by 300 if you're going to do the whole thing, but you can just do one stamp at a time. And I thought that would be good for people who are just learning. Now, the cool thing was that when I bought this one, it came with 2 patterns. Hold on, I got to take a sip. One of them is incredibly detailed. There's like 5 colors in each one of the little stamp borders, super detailed. So I kind of wondered, like, is it AI or is it an actual person? But it's got to be an actual person because when I ordered this one and it came with the 2, I thought that was really, really neat. So I actually ordered this one as well because it's too cute. But it's like 300 by 300. So I don't know that I'm going to do that. Like, we'll see. Retired Nancy, maybe. So this was the Easter sampler that I purchased with and you can see it's really detailed. Very, very pretty. And when I got it, it only came with just the one set. So I emailed him and I said, I just bought the St. Patrick's Day one. It came with 2 versions. And I wanted to use this because it's so pretty and it has the little, 6 different stamps. I wanted to use it to teach people, do you have a simple version for that as well? And within 24 hours, he emailed me one. So he made it a simple version for newbies to try. And I had a couple of people who chose. My pastor wants to try to do the whole thing. And I was like, just so you know, it's really big. But I had a couple of people who asked for this one. I think somebody asked for that one. So we'll be using those to teach people. So that was Dr. Pappy Dan. And he has a lot of cool, there's some like really cool buildings that I found. But I thought it was really awesome that he answered my request and gave me a simpler version of the Easter ones. So that was pretty cool. So hopefully this weekend I need to do some kitting up and have those ready for people so I can teach them how. All right, so a couple other things I have in haul. This one is horribly mangled. I don't know what happened when I printed it out. But Sweet Wing Studio posted this on her Instagram in January, and I was like, running to your shop because it's adorable. So that was, and I like Sweet Wing Studio stuff a lot. She's very cute. Emily Call another favorite of mine. She had this cute little Valentine's Day house. And it actually comes with a set of tags that looks like the house that you can print on cardstock and use for tags, like gift tags. Very, very cute. And then this one, I saw a bunch of these from SWTH. So look at how stinking cute that is. So this is the home of a needleworker. She's got I don't know if it's a she or they or the company. There's one that's just the sewing machine. And I think there's one that's a sewing machine with one house. So there's a couple different sizes of it. They also have a Halloween one where it's a pumpkin instead of the tomato. And it's got like a witchy hat on the house. It's adorable. Super cute. Again, 2 different sizes for it. So there's a Halloween one, there's a winter one, and there's an Easter one. Very, very cute. So, and if you do it on 14, it's pretty big, but if you did it on like 18, it's 11 by 6. 11 by 6. So, well, 11.66 by 6.66. But I just could not resist that one. And it's pretty reasonably priced, their stuff. I also picked up from Sweet Wing because I think she was having a sale. I got this one. So pretty. I have to see about getting the right colors because I think this one, you definitely need the reds and the blues. Very, very pretty. So those were some things I picked up. I also got 2 skeins of red yarn. I do know how to knit. We have a lot of scarves and a blanket because I can't follow directions very well. But I'm going to try because I saw the red hat from, I forget the name of the store. It's in Minnesota. The idea is that it's the red hat is after the pattern. World War II, the Norwegians protested by knitting and wearing little red hats with little tassels to the point that the Nazis outlawed the hat to be worn. And so there was a shop in Minnesota that made a pattern in that vein, in that honor of that protesting hat. And I believe it was $5 for the pattern. I'm pretty sure they've made over $20,000 and they're using that money to support immigrant rights. And I don't know that I will make the hat before winter season is over, but I am going to give it my best shot because sometimes you just can't sit back and do nothing. And there's not a whole heck of a lot that you can do, but you can stand in solidarity for people who are not being treated the way they should be. So yeah. All right. Then just a couple other things in the haul. Oops. Michael's has these awesome packs of trims. And I've gotten a couple of them. I have a Halloween one. I have one that's fall, that's like subdued fall. I got a pink one that like all frothy pink kind of stuff. But this, look at this very pretty spring one. And I think it was even on sale. So there's some neat, I think there's like 20 different kinds of trims in here. And it's all the kind of thing like you might never think to buy it yourself. You know, like a whole spool of it. But there's some really, and they had bright colored spring stuff as well. So I got that. And there's just some really, really neat things in there. Like there's the cool polka dot one. And then there's little things. So really nice variety of a lot of different kinds of trims. So that was at Michael's. Also at Michael's, I got a whole bunch of book stuff. So, because I was trying to get prizes for all of my winter reading challenge stuff. So this is so cute. And it comes in, it's a sticker. They had a couple packs that were like this. Post-its that say like chapter review. It looks kind of like an old, like a checkout card. Another sticker. This one's Book Lovers Club. Booked. And a bookmark, bookish. I got mugs. I got a bag that says my weekend is booked. There's hair clips. There were tons and like so much cute stuff. I sent some of it to Max and Abby. But I bought a lot of stuff for prizes. And then the cute thing was that my second grade teacher bought some of it for me. She's very sweet. Like at book fair the past couple of years, she's made like she's given me a little present for everything and an appreciation of what I've been doing. And it's not needed, but very sweet and very appreciative. So it was kind of funny that she bought a couple things that I had picked out for other people. And then I was at TJ Maxx because they were supposed to also have a whole bunch of really cool reading decor. And the only thing I found was that cute little romantic-y book thing that I had for Valentine's Day. But I found this frame. And I just thought that was really pretty with the gold detail. And this one, that was very pretty scallop that doesn't have the gold on it. But I thought that was very pretty as well. They were only $7 each. I was like, those have to go in the finishing stash. So that is my haul. Should we talk about Market? Let's talk about Market. Hold on one second. Surprise, quick change. Well, no, not really. That break took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to because we had dinner and my husband put on Rizzoli and Isles and that was it for the rest of the evening. So I did not dream about murder, which is like I did a couple weeks ago. But all right, so let's just, we're going to do Market and then quickly plans. I think I talked about them, but I'm just going to lay them out real quick. And then I have a couple giveaways. I'm not going to talk about books this time because I have a ton to talk about because it's been the winter reading challenge. So I've read like 10 books since I saw you last time. And this video is already going to be well over an hour. So I figured I'll talk about books next time. Maybe I'll pick out some of the favorite ones that I read past couple weeks. So Market. I didn't even know Market existed until a couple years ago when I started watching Flosstube, but it is definitely very fun to see all the great stuff come out from the different designers. I love watching Steph Webb. She's so funny as she tells us about all the great stuff that's out there. So last year, I don't think I pre-ordered anything. This year, I was not quite so well behaved. So I ordered 5 things. So first of all, like, you know, you wish you could shop from every single shop that you see. Like Jody Simpling Stitching Ocala just opened a brick and mortar in Florida. So very excited for her. Can't wait to see a shop tour. I'm very excited. Annabella's is moving this weekend. So crazy. They're moving right before their Market. Can't wait to see what that new shop is going to look like. She said that the lease was up on the big log cabin place. And so now the new place is going to have a retreat center upstairs. So that's pretty cool. And, you know, I would shop from Lindy, but I decided there was just 2 shops I was going to shop from. Oh, and my L&S, I'll probably just get like my floss and my fabric from them because I can call her up and be like, hey, leave, you know, whatever color on the front porch for me. And I can just swing by and pick it up. So I decided to order from Just Stitch & Co. Or Just Keep Stitchin' Co., which is Stephanie from Pam and Steph, Just Keep Stitchin'. She started her own new online shop. And so I thought it would be really cool to support her in her new endeavor. So I ordered the Heart and Hand Tiny Town, the new one, the Needleworkers Tiny Town. Super pretty colors. Super, super pretty. And almost everything I've ordered this time is all everyday. So things you can leave out for more than just, you know, a month for a particular holiday. So I ordered the Tiny Town. I still want to do the Nativity one from last year. That one's awesome. And the quilt one's great too. Like they're all wonderful, but I thought this one was very sweet. And I also ordered from Hands On Design. I always get those two mixed up. Make Every Day Count. I just thought that was really lovely. And again, it's another everyday piece that you can have up all the time. So those are the 2 I ordered from Just Keep Stitchin' Co. And then on the group of people that I Zoom with, we have a chat too. And one of the people works for Needlecraft Corner and was talking about like, oh, we just kitted this up and we just kitted that up. And so I was like, I'm going to buy some stuff from there too. So I ordered the Liberty Inn, I think it is, from Annie B's. That's the only like seasonal thing, but it's patriotic and it's just stunning. Love it. I think that everything she's done in the series is beautiful. Retired Nancy, I guess, you know, when I can stitch all day long. But I loved that piece. Very pretty. Then I also got Anne with an E from Teresa Kogut, because Anne is one of my favorite literary people ever. She's like an alter ego. And I just love this one. Very, very cute. And then I got the Book Goddess from Tiny Modernist, because it's the Book Goddess. Like, I think I might have to change her hair color. So it's not purple. Maybe it's going to be kind of an orangey red. Because, you know. So those are the things that I pre-ordered. Now, I missed the deadline for a bunch of them from the Needlecraft Corner. And so I emailed them. I'm like, I know I missed the deadline. So if you can't get them to me till after you come back, that's okay. Totally fine with it. Because I wasn't paying attention when I was sick, when the deadlines were. But I did want to pre-order those. So that's going to be my question for you when it comes to the giveaways is, did you order anything for Market? And if yes, what did you order? So keep that in mind for the giveaways. So my plans real quick. I probably already mentioned them all, but the Lenten stitch, I'm going to work on, like, cut off a length of floss each day for that and do a little bit every day. With working on them, like, so Sunday will only be that stitch on my Sundays, and then we'll see how much I can, you know, work on it. Because that's the intention, is work a little bit every day throughout the season of Lent. And then the first week of March is Baby Got Bap. So I'm going to work on the America Crocette Gogo sampler. Really looking forward to putting some dedicated time into that one. And then for week 2 is Whip It Real Good. So that I'm going to use some time to work on the red, white, and blue sampler. I feel like I got a really good chunk done that one day that I was sick, and I think a couple of dedicated days for that will go a long way. And then I'm also going to work on the Welcome Home Spring, because the spring equinox will be here soon, and I can put it out. So those are my 2 things for that. And then I hope to film like 13th or 14th, because that's 2 weeks from now. So hopefully I will. Because I'm really not sure what new thing I want to start. Nothing particularly Easter or St. Patrick's. I mean, St. Patrick's will be upon us by then anyway. And I don't know. I mean, I started Beatrice last year from Stitching with the Housewives, but that seems more like a most wonderful time of the year week stitch, because it's springy and Eastery kind of with the big bunny. But who knows? Maybe one of my pre-orders will have come in by then, and I can start that in the Make New Friends week. So, but Lenten stitch, America, and then 2 whips, and then we'll go from there. So, all right. So thank you so much for sticking with me through all of that and my many little stops and starts along the way as I was starting to like cook dinner and clean up, and there's stuff all over my dining room table still from yesterday. So I got to put everything back in its correct bags. But I do have a couple little giveaways to say thank you for being with me for these 3 years. So remember to answer in the comments, did you order for Market? Did you pre-order anything? And if so, what did you order? So I have 3 things to give away since it's my 3-year Flosstube-aversary. The first one is Bunny's Bakery. This is from It's So Emma, which is a fat quarter shop design, and it comes with the blue fabric. I think there's blue and white fabric in there. Huh. There's fabric and all the floss and a needle. So you got the whole kit, which is really nice. I did have this for a giveaway once before, and then the person who won it never claimed it. So I was like, it's perfect timing to put it back out there right now. It says it was stitched quarterly. That's what it was from. This was a gift from one of my viewers. So thanks, Kay, for sharing this. And we're going to pass that along. So Bunny's Bakery is number 1. And then another It's So Emma. Yes. Is this cute little wintertime. So who doesn't love a penguin, a fox, and a polar bear wearing a sweater? Super cute. This is just the pattern, but it's adorable. So this is number 2. and also a gift from Kay. And then number 3 was a gift from my LNS. I did the 12 Days of Christmas last year, and she gave me a bag that had 12 envelopes, and I got to open something every day. It was super fun. And this was in there. This is berries and pins. So a perforated paper pin keep. And it's the whole kit, everything you need. So it's got all the floss, perforated paper, the flannel, the felt, and of course the pattern and all that stuff. So that's number 3. So remember to answer the question. Please be a subscriber. Please like the video. Please be over 18. And please live only in the United States. So 1 is Bunny's Bakery. 2 is Wintertime. And 3 is Berries and Pins. So that's it. It's quite enough, I think, after not having a video for over a month. So thank you again for sticking with me for the whole long video, for sticking with me for these 3 years. I really, truly appreciate you all so much. And I hope to see you again in 2 weeks. Thanks, everybody. Happy stitching.